Okay, let's talk about John Cena. And not the wrestler, but John Cena, the actor. His journey from this sort of one-note action hero to a genuinely versatile and interesting performer has been, well, it's been surprising and, frankly, a little messy. So we're going to break down how it all happened and what his evolution really tells us about the craft of acting itself.
And this quote just nails it, right? It perfectly captures the two sides of Cena's career. For about a decade, he was one thing. He did it really well. And then, it felt like almost overnight, he just became something else entirely. So the big question is, what exactly happened in between?
And that's really the core of what we're digging into here. We're using John Cena as a kind of case study to understand something fascinating. What does it actually look like when an actor completely reinvents themselves right in front of our eyes?
To really get this journey, we have to start at the beginning. And for Cena, that beginning was firmly planted in Hollywood as that quintessential, physically imposing action hero. I mean, this was his brand. He perfectly embodied what you could call the utilitarian soldier archetype. Think about characters whose entire identity is just built around being effective when things go wrong. Their value isn't their deep emotional life, it's that they get the job done, no questions asked.
And yeah, the Marine from 2006 is the perfect example of this. Cena played exactly what everyone expected him to. He wasn't there to find some hidden nuance in the script. He was direct, he was physical, he was functional. It's the perfect baseline for the actor he was at the time. But then, you start to see the first little cracks in that foundation. He began taking roles that, subtly went against that tough guy persona. He started experimenting with something totally new for him, restraint.
And you can just see the difference right here. On one side, you've got the Marine, all blunt force and physical intimidation. But on the other, in a film called Legendary, it's all about stoic stillness. He's actively dialing back his physicality to create presence in a completely new way.
These were his key transitional roles. So in Legendary, he's this quiet, guilt-ridden brother. And in 12 Rounds, even though it's still an action movie, he starts layering in these moments of real vulnerability. You can see each role adding a new, more introspective tool to his kit.
So all this experimenting led to the major turning point in his career. He discovered this secret weapon he had all along: comedy. And it changed everything.
His role as the drug dealer Pazuzu in the comedy Sisters was just a revelation. Instead of being big and intimidating, he plays someone who's kind of slight, super nervous, and almost comically non-threatening. It was a total commitment to playing against type.
And this is the key insight right here. With Sisters, Cena figured out his physique wasn't just for action scenes. It was a prop for comedy. His greatest asset wasn't his size. It was his willingness to use that size to completely flip our expectations on their head. So, with his comedic timing all sharpened up, he was ready for his biggest leap yet. This is where he unlocked his full dramatic potential, proving he could carry a really complex, emotionally damaged character.
First, in The Suicide Squad, we meet Peacemaker, and he's pure spectacle. He's loud, aggressive, and he's performing this idea of hyper-confidence, but you can feel that there's something totally hollow underneath. He's both dangerous and kind of ridiculous. But then, the Peacemaker series completely flips the script. That character evolves from a caricature into this deep psychological case study. Suddenly, we're seeing a broken man who's completely defined by his childhood trauma and this pathetic, desperate need for validation.
And this is just a brilliant observation, because it gets to the core of his breakthrough. His greatest range wasn't in being loud, but in being quiet. It was in the stillness, in those moments where his whole aggressive act just collapses, and he has to sit there and process real pain.
And just look at this, it breaks down how complex this character really is. It's this incredible mix of tragic depth, hollow aggression, surprising vulnerability, and then that wild, absurdist comedy. Cena had to juggle all of these contradictory traits, often in the very same scene.
So where does that leave him now? Well, this brings us to the synthesis, where we see Cena bringing all of these skills together into one complete, versatile acting toolkit.
A movie like Ricky Stanicki is the perfect culmination of all this. In this one role, he has to use every single tool he's developed over the last decade. You've got the physical comedy, the deadpan timing, the moments of dramatic sincerity, and that theatrical flair that shows he's not afraid to look completely ridiculous.
And what's so fascinating is that now, when he goes back to the action genre that made him famous, he brings all this new depth with him. His character in F9 isn't just another tough guy. She's this complex person layered with real resentment and psychological wounds. When you get right down to it, what we're watching is a good actor in the process of becoming a great one. And that process, that messy, sometimes uneven journey of discovery, is arguably way more compelling to watch than seeing a performer who has already perfected their craft.
So I'll just leave you with this question. What do you find more captivating? An actor who is already flawless, or getting that rare chance to watch one become great, right before your very eyes?